This is how you can easily install any Android app on your Quest 3 without the need of a PC at all. And that means that you can now finally get applications such as Discord or the Epic Game Store directly onto your headset and play any game or APK that you want inside of virtual reality. So let's dive right into it. Now, firstly, there are two main ways to do this, which is either the quick and easy option from inside of your Quest web browser, or the more advanced second method, which requires just one more step, but does give you instant access to a huge library of Android apps for you to choose from. But let's start with the easy setup first. Now, go ahead and open up your browser and look for the specific APK of any application that you want. For example, let's get ourselves the very popular Epic Game Store. But keep in mind, when you do this, make sure you are always on the official websites. So here, on the Epic Game Store site, you can simply download it directly. Now just give it some time to finish, and once done, click on the arrow icon to go into your downloads itself. And here, go to the See All button and select your APK and open up the so-called file location. And this will then give you a new pop-up window from within your settings where you can find all of them within here. And this is your so-called files application folder. Now, make sure to choose the correct app that you want to install and just press on the three dots in here next to your APK file to find the option for you to unpack it with Meta's built-in package installer. And with that, you will now be able to run that application natively from within your headset. And if for some reason you cannot find your game or app in your home menu, then this is because they can only be found under your unknown sources. So to get there, from it in your main menu, go to the icon on the side and click on your unknown sources to see your now all fully installed Android applications. And all that is left to do is just click on them to launch them instantly. So now, you can start playing your favorite Android games on here, and all of that without needing a computer at all. And this is actually quite a big deal, because beforehand, Meta didn't have this feature baked in, and instead, you would always need a third-party application, such as the mobile VR station, or the infamous VR Android file manager, which actually got taken down by Meta themselves. But luckily, you don't need any of these any longer, since this long-requested feature is finally there. However, installing just one app at a time can become quite tedious quickly, and that's not even mentioning to find the correct APK files that can sometimes get pretty difficult. But luckily, there is also a great and easy fix that only requires installing one APK, which will then unlock a big library of Android apps for you to choose from. And the most popular way to do this is also our more advanced method number 2, and that is with something known as VRelity. Now, similar to before, you want to go to their official VRelity website and install it from there. And after that, you basically want to follow all the exact same steps to unpack it and to get it to run on your Quest. But unlike most other APKs, VRelity gives you access to some really awesome tools. You could, for example, look for the highly useful Aurora store. Now, once you found it, you probably have to accept a couple of permissions that ask you if you're sure that you want to install it. But simply say, yes man, I want to do it. And then this will unlock a nice big overview of all kinds of APKs and apps that you can install on your headset from within here. And that means you won't have to look for APKs yourself all the time. And if you found one that you like, just click on it and install. Now, you could also download other things like the GitHub storefront if that is something more to your liking, or so many other things with just this one APK. So either way, VRelity is a pretty awesome free tool that can make your life a lot easier if you're willing to take a couple extra steps. But there is also one third and final method that is the most advanced of all, and that next to installing APKs will even let you do things such as increasing the quality of your VR experiences, as well as give you access to a bunch of games and apps that aren't available on the Quest Store at all. But before we get into that, let's first have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than Cat VR, who are known for creating VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are once again taking virtual reality to the next level. Because while we are normally limited by the boundary system inside our VR experiences, it is Cat VR that has created these VR treadmills that let you run and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, which is known as the C2 Plus Enhanced, is compatible with every VR headset that you can think of, it is also often considered as the dream upgrade for any VR user. And they even go so far that it has things like haptic feedback built into it, as well as a vehicle hub, which will make it feel even more realistic when you're racing on a track or flying through the sky. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a whopping $130 off on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us to method 3, which is sideloading through SideQuest. However, while it is possible to install this without the use of a computer, to be able to get those APKs running, as well as having the ability to increase the Quest 3's quality, you will sadly need a PC for this one. So, if you don't have one laying around, then the first two methods are still your best bet and by far the easier option. But moving on, to be able to unlock this, you will need to have the developer mode turned on your headset. And if you don't have this yet, then you can do this in just a couple of seconds by going to the website named developers.meta.com/horizon and log in with your Meta account. Now, just keep following all these steps on screen. And if you somehow get stuck at any point during this, then I also have a complete step-by-step guide for how to get developer mode that you can watch after and that I will leave down in the description of this video. But with that out of the way, make sure to now turn on the dev mode inside your phone application as well and restart your headset once completely. And for the second step, you want to head over to your computer and go to the official SideQuest website. And here, click on the Get SideQuest button and choose the desktop app version, since this is the only one that lets you install those APKs, as well as give you those awesome extra features. So, after now properly installing it, open it up, and you will most likely notice the red dot in the top left corner, indicating that we didn't connect our headset properly yet. So, attach your Quest to your PC by using a USB-C cable, and then you should start seeing a pop-up on your Quest that asks you to allow a so-called debugging mode. Now once again, make sure to say yes man, I want to do it. And then this red dot should finally turn green if you followed all of these steps correctly. Now, if you want to go ahead and install those Android apps and APKs, then you can simply drop their files in the designated folder in the top right corner. And after a couple of seconds, just like before, you will be able to find them under your unknown sources. But in contrast to the other two methods so far, the cool extra here is that you also have access to a huge library of VR games, which a lot of them aren't even available on the official Horizon store page. So that is pretty nice. But maybe the biggest extra that comes with this method is the actual possibility to increase your resolution and quality. So to do this, click on the wrench icon in the top right corner to open up the Quality and Performance tab. And here, you can up the default texture size from the base standard all the way up to the maximum, and that will give you some crisp looking quality. Or additionally, you can also change the refresh rate to make your VR games look even smoother. However, do keep in mind that when boosting all these settings through the roof, your battery as a result will drain a lot quicker. And it is also good to know that these settings will luckily stay even after you unplug your headset. But once you turn your headset off, then these settings do reset to their default. Meaning that if you do this, then putting on your headset in sleeping mode instead of turning it off completely will probably save you a lot of time and also won't require you to use your PC every time to boost these settings after each session. But that is not all, because now that you're getting SideQuest on your headset, you also need to know about the best VR games that you can find on here and that aren't available at all on the Meta store page. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.